Okay, today is December 17th. And my name is Sarah Grimwood, Chair of the Natural Resources Commission, and I'm calling this public meeting to order at 7:02. Tonight's NRC meeting will be a hybrid in-person and Zoom meeting. We have a microphone set up on the commission table and plans will be projected through the TV monitor. If you're presenting via Zoom, please turn on your audio and microphone when it's time for you to speak. Following the presentation by the petitioner and questions from the commission, members of the public will have the opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment. Please identify yourself with your name and address for the record. You can also raise your hand from your phone by dialing *9 and use *6 to unmute. All video screens will be turned off with the exception of any commissioners attending virtually and the current petitioner. Once the commission has acted on an application, the petitioner is free to leave the meeting. In the event of any technical difficulties, all matters on the agenda that have not been heard will be automatically continued to the January the 7th meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. And at this time, I'd like the commissioners to please introduce themselves.
Jim Smith. Bill Promesa. Nick Pappas.
Thank you very much. So as always, we'll start with the opportunity for public comment. This is limited to up to 10 minutes with no more than 2 minutes allocated to any one speaker, and public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda. Before we open for public comment, I'd just like to make an apology. I received feedback, correct feedback at the November meeting. I allowed the public comment to go way over 2 minutes and into a discussion. So I apologize for that, and Delia has promised to keep me honest on this and to time if we have public comments. So do we have any public comments tonight? Nope. Okay. In that case, we will move on to the agenda to approve meeting minutes. And we have 4 sets of meeting minutes. Did everybody get a chance to review them?
Yes.
Okay, could I have a motion then, please? Did anyone have any comments? Sorry. I thought they were excellent, as always.
Yeah, Dick.
That was taken care of, right?
Yep.
There was just one I had a comment on?
Mhm.
Right, okay, that's good. No one said it was taken care of and it was reissued.
Okay,
With
perfect,
the correction.
perfect.
Okay, so are you on right now? Right, I'll move that we accept the minutes, the 4 sets of minutes from the executive session on August 27th, September 17th minutes, November 5th, and October 8th minutes.
Second.
Thanks, and the vote. Jim,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, so now is the opportunity for commissioner comments. I just have a few updates. As you're aware, we put forward to the town manager our recommendations for 4 new NRC members, 2 of which would be associate members. And we were hoping that they would be discussed at the December 8th select board meeting. They were actually taken off the agenda because they had received some public comments that they wanted to look into. But my understanding is that this should be back on the agenda at the next select board meeting on December 22nd. So in the event of that all going successfully, I'd like to thank Nick for his many years of service on the NRC. And if the select board doesn't have the discussion, we'll see you in January.
That's right. Thank you, yes.
It's been great.
Also, I wanted to update that we're making good progress with the interviews for Warner's Pond Management Committee applicants, and we hope to complete the interviews by the end of the week, and hopefully we can vote them in January if all goes to plan. And that was all I had. Any other comments?
I did have a question about that vote on the Warner's Pond. Since we have 2 committee members, 2 Natural Resources Commission members on there, will they be recused from the meetings if they're if I'm still here or if Bill's here?
No, they're
From the vote? You think about that. You don't have to answer.
Yeah, I know we discussed this before, but we brought it up before, but we never actually came to a decision.
I would assume we would
Do you
recuse ourselves.
feel more comfortable recusing?
I think it's the right thing to do.
It does make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any comment, any concerns, Jim? You good with
No
that?
concerns other than the fact that under those circumstances, we can't really
No, we won't be able to
Vote
move it
anyone
forward.
in until we have new
If we have
members.
members.
Yeah.
That's why we're hoping it'll all be done by January. Okay, any other comments, updates? No? Delia, over to you.
So the first thing that I have on my list is about the Barrett's Mill pilot program for bow hunting. The commission issued approval for that for Barrett's Mill, and we did issue 3 permits to 3 hunters, 2 of whom will share a stand, and 1 will have a separate stand on separate parcels at Barrett's Mill Farm. Those permits were issued on December 8th. And the season runs through the end of December. So they have a number of conditions which we spoke about at the last meeting. And so we haven't heard anything yet about anybody yet taking a doe. Interestingly, after the news and notices was issued, which was the Friday prior to the permits being issued, we received 4 additional inquiries from Concord residents. So there's definitely interest in deer hunting. And that might help inform the commission if it.
So just to clarify, inquiries wanting to be bow hunters.
Correct, that's right. Yeah.
I do think it needs to be thought about whether it's really effective. I mean, I can understand deer hunting, but whether it's effective for what the purposes are, I doubt that, but we can talk about some.
We'll see.
Staff is going to be meeting with the neighborhood, a few neighborhood representatives regarding the Symes Pocket Park. This was something that John Cooley had come to the commission a few months ago to see if the commission was interested in supporting preservation of a small, about 10,000 square foot acre pocket park. And that was a lot that was reserved for 3 years as part of the 22 unit subdivision approval that the planning board issued. And so we're going to be meeting with the neighbors next month in January to understand what their goals are. For them.
Is this on Main Street?
This is the,
Yeah,
The fellow came and made a presentation
That's
right.
of the trails or what they imagined.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
So is it going to be along the lines that was presented to us? Because that seemed very good because it included pathways through other people's property for walking to the train station, as I recall.
We want to meet with them to understand, a little bit better what the goals are.
Good, okay. That's as a member of the Transportation Advisory Committee, I'll say that's a very important thing. The way it was presented was very positive.
is there a reason why, I don't remember this, why they're doing it with us, not the Recreation Commission or some other?
That's another thing that we want to flesh out a little bit
Okay.
with them. If it's something that is more of a passive recreation, it would make more sense that it be under NRC.
Yeah,
If it's an active recreation, playgrounds, hard structures, then it would be better.
okay.
There's a transportation component. They really should bring it FYI to the Transportation Advisory Committee. But if you want me to look at it before you go or whatever they have, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, great, thanks. And then the last thing that I have is the Haywood Meadow wall restoration. I mentioned this, I think, earlier this year. This is Haywood Meadow, Haywood Street in the middle here bisecting, and this is where we have a 50-foot section of stone wall. We are looking to have that restored, and I don't think I shared these photographs earlier. So this is just something that I wanted the commission to see in terms of what we're looking. So this is the back side of the wall. You can see it's starting to deteriorate. It is retaining a little bit of the sidewalk. And so we did get the plans, the existing conditions plans. We're waiting for the proposed, the reconstruction plans for that.
You just gotta keep it up to the same height. You're not going to raise it.
It's going, so that concrete cap will come off and it will be raised up. I think it's either 6 or 12 inches above what the existing height is, and that's to match the reconstructed walls on other parts of Haywood Meadow.
That's interesting.
And this was CPC funding, was it?
Correct. This was CPC funding, so it is within 100 feet of wetlands, 200 feet of Mill Brook, and so it will come to you for an approval, as well as HGC and the Public Works Commission, because
So
it's
it'll be the
within-
same apparent drywall sort of construction as the rest of the.
Right, and so it'll, right, exactly, it'd be dry laid wall.
Oh.
And That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have two applications to be continued. Can I have a motion, please?
I move that we open and continue to February 18th, 2026, about discussion, notice of intent, 874 Barrett's Mill Road. Lot 3, DEP file number 137-1718. And also notice of intent, same address, Lot 4, DEP file number 137-1717.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you very much, Phil. And the vote, please, Jim.
Aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I as well. Okay, so our first continuance tonight is for notice of intent at 874 Barrett's Mill Road, DP file 1371719. Who do we have representing this application?
And before they start, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
If I may, so we've continued two matters. There are two more, I guess, on here with respect to the same 4-unit subdivision, and there's references in some of our materials to the fact that you don't want to sort of do anything until it's all ready to be recorded for the whole subdivision. So is there just like a thumbnail sketch of sort of logistically what has to happen here with these sort of 4 applications, but all one subdivision?
Right. So what the applicants are looking for right now is review of the subdivision roadway itself.
Right.
And then it is a 4-lot subdivision, and 2 of the 4 lots are jurisdictional. And so they will
Jurisdictional meaning that they're
requiring an order of conditions. And so they are seeking separate approvals for those lots. And I think the applicants are on the call and can clarify the reasoning for that. But what we had suggested was that because there's 1 lot right now, so in fact, Michael, I think if you can pull up your plan of the existing conditions. So there's 1 lot right now.
Excuse me, Delia, I'll just need permission to share.
You should have permission.
It's not letting.
Which does.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
So if an order of conditions is issued, it would be tied to that 1 lot.
to the 1 lot as opposed to 2
Yeah.
separate lots,
Right.
once the subdivision.
Right, so we want the subdivision to be finalized, and so that the mother lot is subdivided into the the daughter lots, and the orders could be tied to, say it's the mother lot's parcel 1000, and the 2 jurisdictional lots get subdivided out as 1000-1 and 1000-2. Those orders should be tied to those, so that when they're at the registry, they're associated with the correct lot and not a non-jurisdictional lot.
Thus avoiding a situation where a lot where there isn't an order suddenly looks like they have an order, and then they've
Yeah.
got to go through.
That's right,
Got it.
exactly.
Yeah.
More for the benefit of the people of the 2 lots that are not going to have orders.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. Thank
Exactly,
you. That's
Yeah,
very helpful.
thanks for that question, Jim. That's helpful. Okay, good evening, Michael and Rich.
Good evening. Rich, go ahead, if that's all
Oh,
right.
good. Yeah, sure. Good evening.
Oh.
Rich Kirby from LEC Environmental. LEC filed the notice of intent applications for these, for the subdivision roadway and the 2 lots in jurisdiction. Mike Novak's the project engineer from Patriot Engineering. We also have the applicants, Stefan Bilhartz and Albert Azantians on the line as well. Mike has been really driving the bus on this project for the past couple of months, going through the planning board process. So thought it would be best to turn it over to Mike to talk a little bit about some of those interactions, the plan changes, just to give the commission an update as to where we are. We do have some comments from Delia that we're going to be working on. But I just wanted to provide that introduction before turning it over to Mike. Take it away, Mike.
Thanks, Rich. Again, Mike Novak from Patriot Engineering, and as we were just discussing, we're here for 874 Barrett's Mill Road, and as you can see in the middle, it's one single parcel right now that we're proposing to subdivide, and the existing conditions plan, as you can see here, it is the frontage is actually inset on the left here, but this is the majority of the almost 10-acre site. And if you recall, it has resource areas highlighted in blue around three of the borders, which we initially came to you to approve under the ANRAD. And then as we move forward, we're here for the roadway to establish the 4-lot subdivision. And just to help clarify the points earlier, the two jurisdictional lots, once the subdivision is approved, is lot 3 and 4. Here you can see I've highlighted the 25-foot no disturb, and then you can see that the 100-foot buffer intersects the potential proposed houses. We thought it cleaner to separate those two lots, once they are lots, from the planning approval into separate notices to allow the full design of each lot and house be done and approved. So we really wanted to focus tonight on the changes since the last time we've seen you for the overall subdivision design. And I have a half a dozen bullet points of the highlights that I'd like to just run through. So then we can discuss any questions or comments moving forward. And like Rich said, we did receive some updates from Delia that we'll incorporate into the final plan set moving forward. One of the things, if you'll recall,
Sorry,
previous.
Michael, can I just interrupt you for 1 second?
Yes,
So
please, go ahead.
we have two separate plots here, but it seems to me like this discussion is gonna actually affect both of them. Is that fair, or are you able to separate the two requests?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I understand.
No, just
No,
the one thing.
One,
Okay, I
subdivision.
misread what I had.
We
Sorry.
misunderstood that too.
Yeah, okay.
That's why you have one. Yeah.
Sorry. My bad.
Are we all set?
Yes, we are. Thank you. Madam
Okay,
Chair.
great. Yeah, no problem. So let me just try to regain my thought process here. So we just wanted to update you, the commission, on the changes that have gone through with the engineering and planning review for the roadway and the road design of the subdivision, and how that affects our conservation design as well. So if you recall, we're entering on Barrett's Mill. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and we start with our first resource area right over here, and you can see that the 25 again is highlighted. So we've pushed the pavement section of the right of way or the roadway as far to as we look at the plan right as we could. And one of the things, if you recall, previously there was discussion on reducing the pavement width. And we've gone through with planning, and we've gone to fire as well. And fire has dictated to us that a 20-foot width of pavement is the smallest they would accept. There was a couple other caveats that they gave, but all would have resulted in a more impervious area. So we chose to push forward with a 20-foot pavement width to try to mitigate or minimize, overall impervious area. Another piece that was changed in the front here that I want to point out is initially we had a porous pavement section for probably about the first 60 or 70 feet of the roadway, because we do have a high point right here. So there was a small area that was running towards Barrett's Mill. We've since changed that. We're going to add a trench drain that will capture that small amount of runoff and bring it to a depression, which I'm calling a level spreader, but essentially will be a grass channel that has an emergency overflow that ideally will function with also some infiltration as well. So we'll still meet and mitigate pre to post runoff in that area. The next piece of information that we added is in the area of the subsurface infiltration system. Actually, let me back up a second. The remainder of the road is designed to pitch towards two sets of catch basins, capturing all the impervious within the right of way that all collect and direct to this proposed subsurface infiltration system, which will infiltrate all of the runoff. And one of the requests of the Concord Engineering was to conduct witnessed by their department soil testing in the area of the system, which we've done. So we're able to respond to that comment in the affirmative. So everyone is comfortable with our design calculations in terms of how that system will function. We have also changed some of the grading, especially in these, actually for all 4 lots, but these lots in particular. Again, as we discussed, these will be brought to you separately once the roadway has been approved. But what we've done is we've graded these so the driveways run into the right of way, and the areas of those driveways has been accounted for in this overall system. Obviously, the final design will have to we'll have to show that that still applies. But again, we wanted to show that we could mitigate a large driveway on either lot to this main system. The roofs for each lot will have associated infiltration systems that will capture the roof runoff. And again, the full design will be brought to you individually. The same is true for the first 2 lots as well. They'll have infiltration systems that will capture the roofs, but in a slight change, these driveways have been allocated for with.
I'm sorry, Michael, if I
Yep.
could just ask,
Yep.
could you just focus this presentation just on the subdivision roadway since we're not reviewing the house lots?
Sure. I will try to make sure that I don't overlap. So one of the other changes that we did is we did initially all the driveways were running to the roadway system. We have separated the driveways out for these 2 lots, and they're accounted for in these systems on the individual lots. Just going through my notes here. The rest of the changes focused on sorry, just letting this load a little bit. Some of the landscape changes that the last time we received comments for. One of them was to add a detail for the conservation of the sign for the conservation area delineation, and the 25-foot no disturb, which actually is on the next page, which we've included in this latest set. I can jump back to that if there's any questions.
Actually, I do have a question.
Sure.
on that.
Sorry, my computer's taking a minute to
Are you
jump.
okay interrupting with questions, or would you prefer to get through everything first?
I only have like 2 or 3 more quick bullet points, but it's up to you.
Why don't you finish, Michael, and then
Sure.
we can, jump
Sure.
in.
So again, these changes were, and I'll be quick, were a modification to the conservation and pollinator meadow area. It was a little rough and rugged. We smoothed that out. We also replaced some of the white pines in the buffer planting with species that better maintained branching to the ground, and we're removing the existing Norway maples. And we also added a note to allow for the relocation of street trees per department head planning and conservation direction if so desired. Again, this was just a very rigid street tree planting, and through discussions and planning, the idea of maybe taking some of these trees and dispersing them to the site was something we've added to the plan. And then we are still finalizing snow storage areas, but we did add some to the plan. I think that wraps up the majority of so please, back to the commission for questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And just real quickly, I failed to introduce our landscape architect, Jeff Toma, who's also here tonight and prepared this plan and colored up this plan for tonight's presentation. So any landscape related questions, Jeff's here to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so maybe we could go back to that sign first. So thank you for putting this in the packet. I did want to discuss with the NRC the top bullet of do not disturb, because this is behind, I think, 50 foot. Is that right? Or just a 25?
50.
Behind the 50. So this kind of implies that nobody should go there, which isn't really the intent. So I wondered if we should just remove the do not disturb, or whether we should ask for it to be changed to, and I was thinking restricted area, but that implies also not to go there. So I don't know, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think this do not disturb is too restrictive.
Yeah.
I think what it is probably trying to say is something like, do not disturb what's happening there, or do not disturb the
Yeah,
natural processes, but that's a little awkward, so
right.
I'm not sure how to
The
word
fact
that.
that it's entitled conservation area might be enough in my
May-
mind.
Maybe just remove do not disturb.
Yeah, yeah.
Will there be a trail through this area or just
I was
a,
just gonna ask, are you proposing any trails through here?
Not at the moment. I don't believe we are. Is that right, Jeff?
No, not at the moment.
Are there any to connect to in the neighborhood? No.
but even if there
Not that we're
was,
aware of.
if there was a trail,
Mhm.
then you could tell people to stay on the trail.
Right.
And that way it would do less harm to the
Mhm.
open meadow.
Mhm.
I think that's the way to go about.
Well-
Put some kind of a circular trail, even a circular connecting trail.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to go anyplace else, but just within the area.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not requiring that, we're just suggesting it, right?
Well,
Not requiring it, but if you, I think that's a really good idea, and you should just show something on the plan so that it's clear it's a, 4 foot wide or
or a wide
whatever.
trail, it's a simple enough thing.
Like a mulch bed trail, that sort of thing. Is that what's
Yeah.
acceptable to the commission?
Just a cut trail,
Cut trail,
just like.
A cut trail.
A
Okay.
It
mown,
would-
a mown trail.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mowing would be
And
fine.
then
Exactly.
the sign could say, stay on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And how often would you like us to mow that trail?
does the sign also say when it can be mowed? That's what I'm worried about.
so you could say trail can, it doesn't, we mow our trails every,
Yeah.
it depends, but I would say
'Cause it
every
says
couple of weeks.
Mow once annually there, so I'm just
Yeah.
worried if that
Trail
cause some
can be mowed
confusion.
more frequently, so it's up to you guys how often you want to mow it, but.
Yeah,
Who's gonna be doing this mowing after the residents move in?
Truth is, I'm hoping that people
HOA.
use the trail, and if that's the way
HOA.
most trails are, and people just trample it down, that's all.
yeah, true, yeah, yeah.
Well, with four, I asked because with 4 houses, I'm not sure it's going to get that much use.
So, just to, if I may, just to remind everyone that these are going to be 4 individually owned lots. So there could be an issue. This isn't a cluster subdivision. There are property
yeah.
lines.
Oh, right.
So
So
there,
you're gonna have a sign on each lot or
No.
where's the
Well,
sign?
there are, Jeff, correct
There
me if
are
I'm
4
wrong.
signs, one on each lot, one opening in the fence on each lot.
Okay,
Each opening has a sign.
yeah, got it.
I-
Well, I would be comfortable with just removing the do not.
Yes.
disturb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, you right with
so,
that?
sure.
Okay.
So just to summarize, we'll remove this do not disturb
Mhm.
line item on the sign. Everything else is fine.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as, when people buy the properties, it's clear to them that they.
Yeah, we'll add,
Which
as
is
part of
very-
the planning requirements, we usually
Right.
have to add pins and points
Right.
online, so people will know their property.
Thank you, thank you. No, that sounds good. And another question I had was, I know, staff had a number of comments on including various pieces on the plans that aren't on there. Did that all get resolved or not? Like,
Well,
I don't think so.
no,
No.
I thought we were gonna hear about that.
Okay,
But I think we did share that information, additional comments, meeting the invasive species management plan.
Yes.
Revisiting the way of
And then-
establishing the pollinator meadow, and there was.
and if there's going to be any irrigation as well,
Well, that was, if I could jump in for a second, I thought I had mentioned that and if I didn't, I apologize, that we received the comments from Delia and we'll be incorporating those in the next
Okay,
plan set.
yeah, okay.
And
Yeah, that's that
and-
stuff for the roadway, right?
one of the things we did do is we actually met with the department heads this past Monday, to review some of the outstanding comments, and irrigation was one of the things that was brought up, and we have a
Okay.
good understanding of if we're going to propose it, what we need to do. So our plan is to address all of those comments from
Perfect.
on your next.
Thank you,
on your
Michael.
next
Sorry, I
go
wasn't
around.
clear on that.
No, that's okay. We were going over a lot, so.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions at this time then?
I have a quick one, because I've lost track. How much of the land is in conservation restriction?
It's a subdivision. It's a straight subdivision.
So, okay, how much is, we have a conservation sign, so how much of that land is being,
It's not, so they're calling it a conservation area, but it's really, that is the mitigation area,
Okay.
as a pollinator meadow.
And so it's just that one area on the,
There's the brown.
Brown area.
Yeah, it's the brown area on the plan. The darker green area is wooded
right,
currently.
You can see here it says
Okay.
existing wooded.
So would
Outside.
pollinator meadow be a better?
It-
would be better on the sign instead of conservation land?
I would, no, I'm fine with, I
Okay.
was just curious how much land
Good.
is being preserved roughly of
We-
that.
we could-
No, that's okay.
I'll get that on the next plan set just so we have that area.
Thank you. Okay, so are you okay to continue the hearing to January the 7th? Because I know you're waiting for review by CPW. Will that give enough time with the holidays?
So what was the date? The date is the 7th?
The
The date
meeting
is the 7th.
7th, so materials have to be in by, ooh, do we know?
Next Friday,
Next Friday,
which is the 26th.
the 26th. Okay, the holidays kind of get in the way here, don't
Is
they?
the town open on the 26th?
Yes.
Just checking.
It's a Friday, it's a half a day.
Yeah, it is,
It's
yeah.
a half day.
Yeah, so by noon on Friday, the 26th, if you want to continue to the 7th.
Yes. Okay, that we can I can do that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And before we close, can I ask if there's any public comments on this application? I don't see any hands, so thank you very much then, and we'll see you hopefully on the 7th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, have a
You
good
as
night.
well.
Okay, so next up, we have another continuation. This is 1533 Monument Street. DP file 1371727, and I believe please separately, yes. Good evening, hi.
Good evening, Seth Donahoe with Bilson Roy and Richard Gallant, the applicant, next to me tonight. Would you like me to give a brief overview of what's been submitted and why we're back before you?
Yes, please, I think we're in really good shape, but
Great,
anything you'd like to share would be great.
good to hear. So we had discussed last time with you a notice of intent that we had submitted. It essentially involves constructing a deck over an existing hardscape area. The hardscape area is to be removed. There's a slight extension of the deck. We were given some homework via Rose sent an email with some details that they would like added to the plan. And I feel we've done that. So we issued a letter on November 24th. It had some bullet points on that, some additional dimensions, as well as some cleaning up of some of the town's standard details, phenomarkers, tree protection.
Mhm.
One of the items that Mr. Gallant was requested to provide you was an arborist assessment of some of the trees in close proximity to the project. As Mr. Gallant mentioned at the last meeting, these trees are important to both him and his neighbor, and they intend to keep them, and no tree removal is proposed as part of this. And the proposed structure is a sonotube style or pier style footing, so it can be easily adjusted to accommodate the root system of the tree. And the arborist noted that and gave you a letter as well. The other item, and I don't know if it's okay to dive into that now, is there was an old order of conditions for a project on the other side of the property. So we did submit a
Yes.
request for certificate of compliance with that as well.
That is on our agenda for the end of the meeting.
And I will shut up about that.
Okay,
So that's a summary of it. So we did give you a revised plan set, but the scope of the project is unchanged since
Yeah.
last time we spoke. It's just a couple minor details that you guys have requested.
Thank you very much. So the only comments that so there was one comment not addressed, but this can be added as a special condition. And that was to install stakes next to the wattle on the down gradient side rather than through the wattle itself.
Okay,
So we're just gonna add that as a special condition, right? And then also a condition of approval that prior to scheduling the pre-construction site visit, we need document provided that an approval not required plan has been recorded with the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds.
so that's in work. So the
Right.
planning board did approve that. It's been sent to Mr. Gallant's attorney. And I expect you guys are finalizing that portion of it.
Yeah, with staff as attorney.
Correct, yeah.
Right, yeah,
Excellent.
so they should be done within the next couple days.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Be part of the title insurance.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
No.
So. I guess I'm a little mixed up here about why we would be continuing this at this stage.
Just because, well, we need to approve the outstanding.
Oh, and that has to be filed.
And then also we have to prepare the order of conditions and everything. We're not ready with that tonight, so. It would mean that everything's in place and we can continue to January the 7th and close an issue then, but you don't have to attend that.
Okay,
Does that make sense, Jim?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll just order for, did you have another?
Oh, no, that's it. That makes sense.
I'm just gonna open for any public comment, please. And I don't see any, so. Hopefully we'll pass your order. It's closed, what's it called? COs, close and.
The order, yes,
Yeah,
so
close the order.
close the hearing and issue the order
Yes,
for the January
And
7th.
the January,
great,
sorry.
and we don't need to hang out tonight.
No.
No, you don't.
Some happy holidays.
Thank you, thank you very much, Stefan.
Or comment.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Doc, leader project. Thank you.
And next we have the Fearless MBTA application for the Fitchburg line. This is RDA file 2511. And who do we have? Matt on the line? Or oh, Matt Seth.
Here we are.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, good evening, Matt.
Good evening. So just to refresh everyone, this Keolis is required to submit this RDA by CMR 11 in order to receive these wetland determinations for the maps used with vegetation management plan. As written in bold letters here on our application letter, specifically the rights of way management regulations presume that the work performed in accordance with the vegetation management plan and yearly operational plan as required by CMR 11 will not alter an area subject to protection under the Wetland Protections Act. With that said, Keolis is seeking a positive 2A determination for the maps, as well as a negative 2 and 3 determination for the work performed in accordance with the vegetation management plan and yearly operational plan. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Or if there's an opportunity for a discussion. I know there wasn't quite a discussion last meeting, but I'm here if there are any questions.
So nothing's changed since your last since we last spoke, Matt? Has anything changed on your side? You're asking the
No,
same?
this work has been the same since the regulations in the 1980s.
I just wanted to clarify that. So our position, obviously the act hasn't changed, so we still need to keep to the Wetlands Protection Act regulations. And that means that we cannot approve any mechanical removal as we discussed last time. So nothing's changed on our side either, but we can go forward as long as we're not including mechanical removal.
Okay.
It's in part of the way.
Okay. Okay,
So what does that?
so in that case,
The issue of what we do.
well, does anyone else have any questions? I know we thought this about this last time.
Yeah. Public.
No. Yeah,
Just to make sure that our position is clear, Keolis does need to include vegetation and mechanical methods as required by the vegetation management plan. So with that not being included in this determination, I just want to be clear that it would be appealed and that they're required to under the state regulations and federal regulations.
well, I think the previous appeal is still waiting to be read out anyway from 5 years ago. And
Yep.
also, we're not saying you can never do it. We're saying to do mechanical removal, you need to bring forward an NOI. And when we're just not going to give you.
Yeah, when it's outside of the vegetation management plan, then it wouldn't be presumed to not alter the resource area. But under the vegetation management plan, it's presumed to not alter the resource area, which is the same language as the negative 2 and 3 determination.
But that's our position. So,
Mm-hmm.
any other comments from anybody?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Did you ask for public?
Yes, are there any public comments? Thank you for the reminder. No,
So what can we do tonight?
Okay. we
Yeah.
can, yeah, who's
Move to
who's
issue,
gonna go for it?
To a.
So should we do that?
Mhm.
So who's, I'm not sure I'm capable of saying this tonight. Let's see. So I'll try.
Yeah,
All right. So I move that for the project of the MBTA Keolis Fitchburg line, RDA file number 25-11, that we issue a positive 2A determination of applicability for the purposes of herbicidal removal. And then where else? A positive 3.
Yeah.
That mechanical removal requires receipt of an order of conditions. And a -2 and 3 approving herbicidal removal only within the wetlands resources area and within the buffer zone, with the condition that Keolis shall provide an annual written reports of activities covered under this approval.
Second.
and the vote, Jim,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
I just want to add a -2 determination for herbicide. There is no herbicide application in resource areas, as that determination would imply.
Or within the buffer zone?
In buffer zone, there is, but in the -2 is for the resource areas where herbicide application is not permitted under the regulations.
I thought there was an exception.
No, the exception is that the only alternative is mechanical. There's no
It's known as the catch-22.
there's no herbicide application permitted within resource areas.
Okay, so how do we change this?
Well, we can still approve it.
You could still issue that so that it's clear, that is consistent with
Okay.
what the commission's determination was and
Well, we just have
2020.
competing laws here.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Or you could just issue a -3.
Let's do it this way. I'm gonna be clear for the people that's getting on appeal, but
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
the problem
it's
is.
good to be
That's true.
consistent with last year as well.
All right.
Okay. So
We
we
feel
voted.
for you. on
Okay,
that. Okay.
yep. So, thank you, Matt.
So what was the final
We're
decision?
sticking with what we just voted
Did
on.
we, I don't think I voted.
We vote on this?
You did.
Yeah,
I thought you.
Okay,
we're sticking with a -2 and 3.
okay.
Your issue.
The herbicide only, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very
you.
much. Good evening.
Yes.
Okay, now we're moving on to new applications. I believe we have one this evening, yes. And this is for 35 Bypass Road, with Bing He, I hope I said that correctly. RDA file 2521. Welcome.
Oh,
Good
thank
evening.
you. So, the project is, simple that we, propose to construct a garage and a covered walkway. And plus remove some, dead trees within the area and, its garage and the covered walkway is on top of the existing paved parking lot. And so nothing go beyond what it is already there.
No, this was very clear to me. No questions and staff had no issues. Any questions or comments from the
None.
commission?
No, it seems straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, just don't forget the public.
Any public comments on this application?
But just to note, it was 3 trees.
Three
Okay,
trees.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so could I have a motion then?
I move that we issue a negative determination for applicability number 3 for work in the buffer zone for project RDA file 25-21 35 Bypass Road.
Second.
Thank you, and the vote, Jim?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
You too.
30 seconds. You go.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have two violations to discuss. The first one is for 150 Garfield Road, DP file 1371524. Who do we have representing tonight?
Hey, how you doing? This is Montgomery Stamsky and McNary at 1000 Main Street, Acton. I'm gonna be representing the applicant today. And I see we have, is it the lawyer here, is what the attorney?
The lawyer. Yes. Hi, folks.
Dan, good
Sorry about
evening.
that.
Yeah, Dan Goodrich is here. Thank you, folks, for
So
having me
let me
tonight.
share my screen.
And I see Kim's on the line.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kim and Katie are on the line as well.
And Katie as well. Good evening.
Yes. So just to briefly give us a summary, I think the last time we're here, we just wanted to see a plan, an existing plan, conditions versus the approved plan that was approved, I think, under the Order of Conditions on December 18th, 2020. So we just wanted to see that overlay so that we can discuss with the commission what's to be done and the steps to be taken forward to kind of mitigate the problems that happened on this site. So we do have this existing conditions plan that's overlaid with the proposed stuff. So you can see the red line was the original approved limit of work line. You can see here scope of work was much further. And you can see there wasn't a lot of fill proposed, and the slopes were not as steep, especially on this side. It looks like a 2-to-1. And then we have the septic over here. This is the leach field, and then this is a septic. And we did some calcs, and we determined that roughly about 5,480 cubic yards of fill were brought onto site since the issuance of this order of conditions on December 18th, 2020. And approximately 10 feet of fill is above this leach field. And they do currently, if I'm not mistaken, they do have a Presby here. So it's currently functioning pretty well on site, but it's 10 feet of fill over the top. So basically that's about it. So I would just take any questions from the commission and anything that you guys want to discuss so that we can mitigate and make changes and to make this site conditions better.
Thank you, Montgomery. So thank you for providing us with some of the info we asked for. But I do believe there's still a few pieces that we asked for that still needs to be dealt with. So we now understand the area of we understand the amount of fill, but we still need to understand the area of the fill.
The area?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think just to provide that information as to, and same with the volume, what was the approved volume that was, what volume was approved versus what has come in, and what area of work was approved versus what the extent of the area
Right.
under the current condition.
Yeah, so this,
Analyzing the plan, really.
so this proposed plan was done by somebody else. It looks here roughly about 3,991 square feet in this area was approved. So right now, what we calculated was 5,480. Just a lot more fill.
And
No, that's
cubic
yards. That's
yards.
cubic yards. Wait. Are you talking area? Or...
Oh, this is, oh, my bad. This is the area. It's
Yeah.
the area. My
And
bad. Sorry.
that's
Sorry about
just, right, that's the area that was supposed to be the flat.
that. Mhm.
flat surface.
Yeah.
But so that's, I mean, right, you have that piece of information, but I think, also there was a number of trees that have been approved for removal, but there's a lot more trees that were removed or topped. And I think there's some more information that
Yeah, so I think a much more detailed narrative around, well, we've talked about clarifying the volume and square footage of disturbance, and that will be under the approved plan versus the current condition. Also, the approved slope of 2-to-1 should be updated to provide the current slope. There are trees approved for removal versus those that have been cut or topped. They should all be clarified, including their size and species. And and I think we already discussed this, we need a statement from a certified arborist on the condition and recommendations for all affected trees. Have we discussed that with this application? Maybe I'm thinking of another one we discussed tonight.
It was provided to them.
Okay,
Forget.
okay.
Yeah. Letter maybe.
So that's all needed, and then there's still some debris at the bottom of the slope, well, boulders mainly, I believe. I think a lot of the other debris is being removed, but there's a lot of boulders there still.
Mhm.
So,
And
so question, so
Yeah.
we've got now an incomplete but a helpful statement of the situation as it is at the moment. Not complete, but
Yes.
helpful.
Yes,
At some point, what are we going to ask for? Are we gonna ask for a remedial plan that gets us to what was originally approved? And who will be doing that?
well, we need to understand the differences between
Right.
what was approved and what's happened. And then we need to decide if anything that's happened, is that something we would have approved? Or is it completely, out of line with what NRC would ever approve? But I don't want to put words in everybody's mouth, but if there's nothing there that we need to be redone, but we may be talking about mitigations.
I think for a starter, the fact that this leaching field and septic tank have been buried means that there's an emergency, perhaps an emergency action that has to be taken that's gonna modify what's there anyway.
I think it depends on the septic tank though. Have we heard from the Board of Health on that?
So I did speak with the health director, and the system is only supposed to have 3 feet of fill on it.
Okay, so yes.
So that's out of compliance with the Title V.
So that is a problem. Yes.
So that means,
I mean, they basically, I think the typical solution is they have 2 years in which to resolve the issue. It's not an immediate fail. But that's an issue that needs to be resolved.
so
I think that
that's gonna be a first step in whatever plan someone puts together, is to deal with that problem.
right. I
and
think
then
this could
the
all
rest
come,
of
I
what
think it
happens.
can all come together as one sort of, hopefully one holistic plan that addresses those issues, all the issues.
The way I heard that, Sarah, was it sounded as if we're gonna look at the way it is now and figure out if it's in compliance. It seems like someone should be coming forward with a proposal.
That's what, so let me back up a bit. So what we haven't discussed is the fact that we did ask that immediately a plan was put together to stabilize the slope, right? And the owners have been very cooperative and moved very quickly, and staff are very happy with what was done there. So I want to be clear to everybody that compliance is very good here and moving forward. Given that nothing can be planted, obviously, until we get through the winter, we have at least a couple of months here to talk through what needs to be done. And yes, the request was to understand, or help us to understand fully what the current status is versus what the approved plan was, so that once we understand the differences and what's potentially okay and what's not okay, if there is anything, then we can talk about what mitigation looks like, what needs to be changed. I think what you've just highlighted about the amount of fill on top of the septic tank, that clearly is a big piece and would need to be factored in as new plans are put together.
So,
but we're not going to design it. We're waiting for more input.
yeah, I appreciate that. What I think, maybe to follow on with Nick's point here, is that I think we've read in here that the owners, the applicants would have, in their heart of hearts, would have preferred the first plan not get approved at all, because they didn't think that the first plan would actually work. I mean, there's quotes in here that they didn't believe it was could be implemented in the way it was approved. and still be safe for their
Yeah, and
family.
just be clear, we saw some documentation commenting that the slope was just going to be too dangerous for the children.
Right.
Right.
So I appreciate that. So I think that while it's undoubtedly useful as part of this process, and you sort of have to go through the ABCs to figure out what you did before, I'm also recognizing that it would appear that what was originally approved is also not an ideal situation, is not an appropriate situation, at least in the minds of people who are worried about safety of their kids.
Well-
So
There is a problem though, Jim, because the slope that's there now is as bad.
Worse than that.
well, no, I understand that. I'm just trying to get to the same, I think I'm trying to get the same place Nick was, which is, while I think it's appropriate to go through these steps, I'm much more interested in about what is the
forward plan.
And does it make sense? As opposed to necessarily trying to I know we're not trying to revert back to the old plan, but to be too worried about.
Well,
those
remember,
aspects
this
of
is
the
a
old
violation,
plan.
so this is a violation,
Yeah.
so we have to be very clear what the violation is compared to the original plan. But I hear your point, yes.
Right. And then I think what was recommended here is that we didn't necessarily have to go through an enforcement situation at this point, if we could sort of sort out what was going forward. So that's what I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
we're focused on where.
So
we're gonna get.
focused on going forward, as I said, the owner's been very compliant with our requests and move very fast, and they want to put things right. We don't move forward with enforcements if that's the case, if
Right.
the owners are being compliant. So now it's about, how do we put this right and what is the new plan?
I just want to guard against, I think, same thing you were talking about, is trying to be too concerned about what the original plan was, in the sense that seems to have been demonstrated to have been problematic in some of the original plans.
Well, I'm not sure.
Problematic.
It's problematic to the owners
Well,
now, but
right.
it was obviously approved by us and.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not
representatives,
saying
so-
it was an inappropriate plan. I'm
Right.
just saying that it is
It's gonna
not
be a
a
different plan.
solution that's helpful to anyone to go back and just say, oh, we'll just put it exactly the way.
No, that's not, I don't think that's what we're asking.
But the part that puzzles me is that as it was built, seems to be a much more dangerous situation than what was approved. Because
Oh,
the slope
yeah,
is so
yeah.
much, I'm just saying.
No, I get you. I'm just,
So I
yeah.
think there is, in a sense, an emergency situation, because the slope is both unstable from a conservation point of view, and it's too steep for a safety point of view. So I
Right.
think that's rather urgent.
Well,
Both
so that's been stabilized for the short term, but that's why we
Right.
need to see the plan so that as soon as it thaws out around here, things can start being put in
Right.
place to put it right. Yeah.
I think we're all rowing the same way.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that we are keeping our eye on the
Right.
ball, which is deal with the conservation, deal with the safety,
Mhm.
and apparently deal with the septic system.
Yeah, so Montgomery, we've obviously given you a lot to think about here. Now that you've just heard about the septic system requirements. So do we have a date? I know we gave dates for when we wanted to see the plan. Do we?
So are we asking
Yeah.
them to come forward with a plan that would make this something that the Natural Resources Commission would find acceptable? Because it seems to me that's where we need to get to.
I think that's right. I mean, I think, so I think everybody is moving in that direction, but it seems that until you understand what, the extent of the additional alteration is, you're not gonna be able to ask for appropriate mitigation to offset that.
Well,
So for example, let me try one thing. I still don't understand how much flat surface has increased. In other words, there was a flat surface of 30,000, was it 3,991 square feet? Has that increased? Was that made much larger?
Yes.
A larger, but we don't know how much that larger
No,
that
and
is?
that's what we were asking.
So we don't have that
That's right.
information, do we?
No, we were asking them to calculate that area.
Yeah, because that'll tell you a lot about how much, how much it's expanded further out into the no disturb zone, et cetera, right? Isn't that true?
Well, it would tell you. how
And
much
the
steeper-
slope.
Well, and the slope, of course, yeah,
The
but also,
steep of the
it also
slope.
means that was a significant push in that direction.
Right.
But there's been no violation of the 50-foot no build zone rule.
No,
And-
but
and
there's
it's
been
not in the
intrusion into the
25.
25-foot with slope, new slope,
I don't believe there has been,
isn't there?
No.
no.
I'm sorry, oh,
That's
that's.
at the 50.
25.
So I
No.
think I thought it would be helpful to get a little bit more information, what the commission had initially requested, which was a full sort of narrative on what had changed,
Mhm.
so that then you would have enough information to then give direction on what you thought was going to be the appropriate sort of points for them to develop a restoration plan.
Especially since, again, this is a violation. So everyone's, being very compliant and moving forward, but I guess I want to protect us from if that suddenly changes. We want to be clear, what's different to the original approved plan.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure.
We just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Montgomery,
Yes.
obviously there's quite a bit of new information. You have to think about what the go
Mhm.
forward plan might be. I'm thinking out loud here, but I definitely would like to see that plan of what the conditions are. Well, the
Yeah.
information we're asking a more detailed narrative about
Mm.
what the conditions are now compared to what was approved.
What was approved and the
I
trees that were
definitely
cut
want to
down,
see
whatever.
that
Mhm.
before the next meeting.
Right, so
Montgomery, do you mind just taking off the plan just so I just want to say a few things when I have a moment, but I'd like to be able to see
I can
people's.
stop
Yeah.
share.
Oh, thank you. Is this an appropriate time? I just want to make sure everything's crystal clear for my clients so we can make sure we're continue to work with you guys as best as possible.
Please do,
So
Jen.
is the plan, we're going to give you guys essentially a full accounting of what has changed in the backyard. Then you guys are going to give us comment on how we can put forth a plan that is going to be potentially, I just don't want to have my clients spend more money
So
to
maybe I
put
can
together.
correct you there, Dan. So yes, we want to see a clear narrative on what conditions are now compared to what was approved, as we've just been discussing. But then we also want you to come forward with how you propose to change what your proposed new plan would be, given that the slope is not safe. Given that that you've got far too much fill on top of the septic tank. And so we also want to see your go forward plan so that we can then discuss that and
Okay, I understand. And so the slope in the septic, is there any other issues? I prefer to submit something that's going to be subject to some comment and suggestions from you guys, but I'd like to have at
No.
least the full scope before I submit something. We submit something.
Well, what we normally expect is that you understand what the regulations are and that
Yep.
you come forward with a plan that conforms to the regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
We don't give suggestions.
well, I think, another piece
That'd be too helpful, right?
I think another piece of this is that
An engineer.
once you have a full understanding of what happens, what was approved versus what is on the ground now, then you'll have a better ability to say, what is it that the commission would have approved?
Right.
Nobody's saying to go back to that initial plan necessarily, but what would have been approved. And so maybe not asking for a restoration plan yet.
Yeah, okay.
Until that narrative. I think if you can provide that narrative.
I just don't, I won't be here, but I
Oh.
don't want my successors in the commission having to suggest or having to guess at what the steps forward will be,
Okay.
right? I want them to propose that. I
Absolutely.
don't want us to work backwards.
We need to
into that.
propose,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I think that's
absolutely.
right. But I think it's also helpful if the commission just sort of can say, once you have that information,
Yeah.
you don't have a conversation at the next meeting about what.
Yeah,
works.
and also I'm not expecting to see a full proposal for go forward plan at the next meeting, but I hope that I hope the owners would have had a chance to think about what they want to do, and then maybe it'll be helpful to just have a general discussion so that we can say, well, that's not going to work because, or you're moving in the right direction. Yeah.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
Can I ask you one, confirm my own clarity on this? What we're asking them for is to say, here was the original plan as Montgomery just showed us. And then another plan saying, or another thing saying, here is what we have now. Here is what has happened, right? And that'll include things like the amount of open space has, the amount of lawn has expanded, that the amount of fill has gone up a whole level, et cetera. And there are all these trees that have been cut along the edge.
More a narrative of bullets with
Narratives, but I'd like to see something visual too.
Well, the plan they showed was the limit of work approved, the red line.
Right.
Overlaid with current conditions.
Oh, that was the current.
That was it, yes.
So
that 3991, that's the current condition.
No, that was the approved condition.
Yeah, so that was the approved plan versus what is currently on site. It's just overlaying on top.
Would it be possible, Montgomery, to provide a little, maybe two plans or maybe a little bit more clarity, because the plan is difficult to decipher?
I think that's why we
Yes.
want the narrative, because it's so just to help us navigate.
Yeah.
And
So we can separate them and know what's changed on two
That's good.
different.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
So
Okay.
December 26th noon to be on the January 7th, can you make that happen?
January 7th, you said?
Yes, but filing by December 26th at noon.
26th. Yeah, 26th.
The day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas. Might be tough. Yeah, we can get that. We can get that.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can get that. Yeah.
Okay, and before we move on, I just want to open for public comment. I don't think I've done that yet. Any public comments on this violation? No. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our second enforcement order or violation of the night rather is 1175 Elm Street. Who do we have to represent? Good evening.
Hello. My name's Don Vogel, MIG Corporation CEO. Well,
Good evening. Do you have anyone else on the?
no, we don't.
Okay. Okay, so I know there's been a lot of communication back and forth, so maybe you'd like to provide a summary from your perspective of where we are.
So we did the town of Acton 27-111 road construction project. We signed up through the Concord Municipal Plant manager to use the rotary location there. And we had an agreement we signed with the town, which was for 36 plus or minus months. Use it as a staging area for our fills and the products, which we did. This is the 37th month right now. It was a 36 plus or minus term. And we are wrapping up and we've gotten a lot done. We're not quite there yet. We had one little thing left. Our attorney is working with the town attorney. There is a draft agreement that's pretty much ready to be stamped. And we're all good with all that. The only timeline that we don't really know is when that last piece of fill can leave. Now, there's about 5,000 yards right there. And we have that proposed for Mass DOT project in Newton, the big one, right at the 95 and yeah. So they need a lot of fill there. Their restrictions of acceptance are very, very difficult. So we have done all kinds of testing. And you're welcome to these if you like. Everything's clean and good, and that's gone to their environmental engineers on that project. Okay, that's about $12,000 worth of testing. Okay, but it's all approved. Now, this engineering department for the DOT has to sign off on this material. The contractor's gonna take it. He's ready to take it now. I asked our project manager on this job, when does he think that's gonna happen? And he thinks within 1 to 2 weeks. And to move that kind of material, it would probably take us 5, 7 days, 8 days.
Okay.
And we just do it all once and bang it out.
Yeah.
Okay, and we would grade it off after that. And then we would topsoil it. And we would finish with proper seeding and final grading in the spring. And I think there's agreement right here with the attorney of the town, if I'm not mistaken, for March 26th.
It's 31st.
31st?
Yeah.
Okay, so 31st completion. And that's really a little early for the planting of the seed. Okay, DOT planting is April 15th, but we can get on the early side of that. So, we're fine with all of that. We have a little bit more erosion control that wants to be put in, but we were kind of given a stop order. So we didn't want to do anything to upset anybody with that. So we have a strip along Route 2 westbound. That we need to put some erosion control.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm guessing it's 300 foot. So we have to do that before we start anything, and then we have to get the fill out there. And we're almost good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're in a much better position than we were a week or so ago.
100%.
So we did receive today, I believe, your proposal for restoration.
Right.
Which is written by a wetland scientist.
GZA.
So we did have a few comments on that. It's almost okay, but there's a few comments. So I suggest that staff just reach out and
Sure.
is that the best thing to do since he's not on the line?
Yeah. I mean, there's I think, we had timeframes, we had deadlines in the enforcement order that the commission will issue tonight. It is tied to that access agreement, the temporary access agreement that you've been working on with town council. But there's, we had specified 6 inches of clean loam, and the reason for that is because the site is so compacted at this point, rather than 3 inches, which is in your wetland scientist.
That's
minor stuff. We do want it certified clean of invasives. And there's a few minor things, and I can just email this to you, to your project manager.
Yeah, so we're right next to each other in our offices. Chris Keefe, you have his email. I think he may have mine as well, Don Vogel. We've done the pedestrian bridge for you folks. Yeah, we've done that bridge. We've done emergency for the town over here, School Street over here somewhere. Then you did the 117 bridge a long time ago. So, I mean,
Great project.
Flooded out for years.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It's good
It's
project.
beautiful.
So we're still moving forward with an enforcement order? Okay.
So GZA will be overseeing this.
Okay.
GZA is our engineer of record, environmental engineer of record on the Acton 27-111 job as well. We're a reputable firm, and we're happy to bring them on.
Okay.
So I got the fact that having a consent order, whatever it's called, versus an enforcement order is a helpful thing, but where are we exactly tonight?
So with the access agreements, MIG, is it MIG or MIG? Okay, so MIG is agreeing to not sue or to appeal that.
Right.
So it's essentially, and town council Mina and Marissa are on the call, so
So, but are we, so what is our action tonight?
Yeah, we're waiting to do.
That's what I'm trying to figure.
So your action is to issue the enforcement order.
Okay.
So we're issuing the enforcement order.
Yep.
With the understanding that it's going to be out there. Should need be, should
Right.
this all fall apart, which it's not going to do, we
Right.
almost assuredly know. And so we'll issue it. It'll be the backstop. We expect this all will go forward.
Mhm.
Okay.
And just to
Essentially,
be
we have
clear,
to keep the DOT happy too, because they're privy to all this and, you know, essentially, we're not gonna do anything to jeopardize our relationship with the DOT, so everything here is,
Our enforcement order.
everything here is gonna work out.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
all I'm trying to do is just
So the
try and
enforcement
what
order-
we're trying to do tonight and how that's gonna.
So we approve on the specific
50 days.
letter of enforcement?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
that,
It's an enforcement order.
and it outlines what we
Okay.
need doing in order to restore the land with time periods. And I just want to say it's very similar to the restoration plan, apart from a few points that Delia was just pointing out.
Okay.
So I know all parties are moving in the right direction now.
Yeah.
We just want to formalize all this.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I understood
Yeah.
logistically what. we
Okay,
need.
so do we,
Yeah.
was that in the package and I didn't notice it?
Yes.
It was.
We'll just email it to you. It's on, well, earlier version is on the website. But I don't know. Do you want me to print it?
We need to vote on that. So if the commissioners have any other questions?
No, you have questions from the public?
I'm gonna go to that.
Before we do that,
Okay.
see that Mina has his
Mina.
microphone off. I don't know if you have anything that you want to.
I was just going to confirm the answer you already gave, Delia, but just for the avoidance of any doubt, that we sent over the form of the access agreement. That is something the town manager's office signs off on, so you don't have to take action on that. But it's exactly as Delia described. The enforcement order will be enforceable like any other enforcement order. We have been given assurance from MIG's counsel that they are interested in a reasonable access agreement to perform this work. I'm glad to see Mr. Vogel, has already started reviewing it and believes that it seems reasonable. I obviously don't want to speak for him. He's, his lawyer will look at it, but that once that's signed, that's a way to implement the enforcement order. That's sort of the idea of it. But if that doesn't happen, you still have that as an enforceable order, just like anything else. And to be clear, while we certainly respect the need to get the soils off, and it'll be easiest to work with MassDOT, we, from the town's position, the prior access agreement is terminated. And so we are required to, the town's view is that this is now an access agreement to do this work, to be able to do the restoration.
Thank you, Mina.
One thing I was just a little curious or questionable about, I didn't know with this agreement, you may have the answer to that. If you required new insurances directly with the town of Concord. I saw something in there and I wasn't so sure. You have a list of insurances.
That is probably something to take offline with.
Yes, I agree. I agree, Madam Chair. I think that's probably, Mr. Vogel, I would suggest if you'd like to have Attorney Kerrigan contact us, happy to do that. But yes, you'll see a list of insurance. That's this customary insurance that the town requires for, would require for something like this.
That's all fine. And we could do that. One that there's one that probably wouldn't be used is like the professional liability. That would be provided by our GZA. We wouldn't be providing that.
Right, but that's kind of not our purview as
Okay.
Natural Resources Commission, so that's a separate discussion. Thank you.
Okay, I've reviewed it.
Okay, I'd like to open this for any public comment, please. Paul.
Yeah, a member of the select board, this question speaking for myself. It seems like an entirely well-designed cooperative process. The only thing out of your control, it seems, is the DOT's acceptance of this 5,000 cubic yards of fill. So you're waiting for an acceptance.
So it has been accepted by the DOT and it meets their requirements, and we did all this testing.
So it's just a matter of timing right now? Okay, so there's no risk
So the DOT moves at their own pace.
Right. That's the risk. Timing.
So,
It's the holidays.
so, you know, we don't wanna like, you know, we don't wanna poke the tiger too hard.
Right.
So
So things can move, but there's a little risk about the time, exact timing, which I
I'm
think you said
guessing it's a
before.
couple weeks. I'm guessing it's a
Okay.
couple weeks, but you know, it's not a month.
Right.
You know, it might be, you know, we got a holiday in here or two, so it's a little.
And I'm mentioning because that's the only thing that's kind of out of your control.
Exactly, but we're, you know, to take that stuff out of there is probably, if it's 5,000, it's probably 5 or 6 days.
Right, right. No, I understand that. No, fine. You've answered the question. Thank you.
I see we have a hand up online.
But just before I forget, I'm sorry, you offered those testing results?
Yes.
Um,
Would you like them?
we would love
Yeah,
those, yeah, thank you.
Certainly.
Yeah, we're not gonna let you.
No.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know who KWH is. If you
Yep.
could please state your name.
Keith Hannon on Nimrod Drive. So just been tracking this, and on December 8th, NRC voted a positive determination, which solidifies that a permit is required to operate in the buffer zones at that site. So I'm wondering, when is that going to occur, that a notice of intent will be applied for, which is required to even begin and to restore those areas disturbed at that site? Right now, that's not even being discussed, so I'm wondering, when does that happen?
Do we
So
need that
we're
with an
proceeding under
order?
enforcement.
Yeah, we're proceeding under an enforcement order, so that point's kind of mute now. So the enforcement order lays out our requirements.
So I just wanted to go back to the point that you're making. I understand that DOT has, you know, their own time frame and everything else. We do have in the enforcement order that all the materials must be removed by no later than February 13th.
Mm.
And so can you commit tonight to feeling comfortable that that's
I could do that.
okay,
I could do that.
okay. And have you looked at this, the enforcement order? It's similar to what the restoration plan was, but
So.
we had deadlines in there.
Is this the
No,
agreement
that's
there?
the license
The license agreement?
agreement.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it was at the end of that. Was that right?
No, I don't think so.
No, it wasn't actually.
I read through it. I thought it said 3 inches. I think you just said 6 inches.
Okay, right, so you've seen the
I-
restoration.
I've seen the 3 inch.
Okay,
Everything on there, I had no problem. You
Okay.
just changed it to 6.
and we have, just so you know, the main deadline that I wanted to be clear with you was on the 13th of February, which is this, okay,
Is fine.
okay, great.
The only
Thank
thing, we want to make sure that we be able to seed it. You know, if we have a snowstorm, like, we don't want to seed it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's
I know
all.
the seating is a little awkward because the dormant seating is best done by the end of December, and a spring seating, as you said, would start later, but I think if, you know, what we would work with your wetland scientist is to, you know, if we have in here a requirement to be consistent with the access agreement that it's a deadline of March 31st for the seating. And so it will likely be an overseeding, so that, you know, you will probably lose some of that
Yeah,
seed
yeah.
early because it's just an awkward time.
It is.
But that's just where,
Right.
that's all, that's what we have to work with. We don't want to wait and leave it
Understood.
unseated for some period of time.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other hands up? Don't see any. No.
So is the motion to adopt the enforcement?
Yes, please.
Issue.
Yes.
Okay, is there a date on the enforcement order?
Tomorrow's date, but
Okay,
that, so you would just move to issue the enforcement order.
okay. So I'd like to move to issue an enforcement order with respect to MIG Corp. And the project at 1175 Elm Street.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And the vote, Jim,
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
and I'm an I as well.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
set. Good.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You picked it all. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we have 2 certificates of compliance. No, 3. I can't count.
Okay, I'll take Any comments on this? Really? Or it's just straightforward, so-
Yeah, one's a partial.
Yeah, so one came off the thumbnail because we'd already given it a pass.
Who's that?
G 328 Border Road already has a partial.
I don't have. Oh, I see.
I see, okay.
Yeah,
I see it
second
on our-
one
Yeah, yeah.
came up.
Old
got it.
Bedford Road.
Yeah.
So we're working with the
I'm
agenda.
just looking at the
Yeah.
agenda, so the
That's-
three on the
yes.
agenda
Yep,
are
yes.
complete.
Right.
Okay,
No, the
No,
last
no,
one's
Art
partial.
79.
I'll get that.
Yeah.
Very.
Karen, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
Oh, you got it, that's right.
We're
I
getting
move that
tired.
we,
So wait a minute, just hang on a second, I just. I know we normally just take these all, but I just want to revisit the Galant one at 1533 Monument Street simply because we've got all this other moving parts going on, so can just. Briefly, there's no issues, it's gonna be
Right, so
fine.
they had received an order of conditions to construct a pool and a patio. And they did that, but they never closed it out. And
Right.
then we received the as-built plan. Rose went out and did the site visit, and there was a patio in a different location from what was on the approved plan. And so we needed some confirmation. We got confirmation that that patio was in existence when they purchased the property.
Yeah, okay, I just want to call that out.
Yep.
Yeah,
because
no,
we
good.
kind of deal with the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we issue complete certificates of compliance for Galand and Egelhart, 33 West Circle, DEP file 137-1632. Also for Galant, 1533 Monument Street, DEP file number 137-1243.
And,
I second, you want to do that?
oh,
separate?
you're doing the whole one.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I second those two.
Thank you, Bill. And the vote, please, Jim.
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
Okay, I also move that we issue partial certificate of compliance for RJJ Properties LLC, 7-9 Blue Heron Way, Old Bedford Road, DEP file number 137-1687.
We know it was old one.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Thank you. And the vote, please, Jim.
aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well.
No, it's still Old Bedford Road. Off of Old Bedford Road, I guess.
Okay, so, two administrative approvals.
Both
What's
for,
the other business? That's it else.
First.
Yeah, that's.
oh, it's the letter
Oh, yes,
first.
so
Yeah,
sorry.
that'll be-
Okay, I missed that. Yeah.
Okay, so we have current Wetlands Protection Act regulations that were last revised in 2014. And in December 2023, Mass DEP proposed updated wetland regulations. And there was a comment period that ended in April 2024. And there was substantial comments that were received, but DEP has incorporated those
Yeah,
comments,
yeah.
and has for months.
Yeah.
So we're looking to have those regulations to really ask the governor to issue
Right.
those.
Yeah.
The reason being that there's a concern that if they're not issued this year, next year is an election year, and there may be a moratorium on issuing regulations. And the important thing, I mean, there's a lot of revisions, but the two sort of major revisions to this set is that there's a lot of improvements to stormwater management. Right now, the 2014 regulations use old, 60-year-old rainfall data,
Okay.
and they'll start using much more current.
Good.
And then the other thing is that, coastal floodplain has been a resource area for decades, and there are no performance standards for it. So, and this version incorporates those. So it's been a long time. It's been a year and a half
I
since.
wonder what's taking so long.
There's some holdup in the administration. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
what it
Does
is,
it
but
say anything about herbicidal versus mechanical? Basics.
It would make our life easier, wouldn't it? No. So the request is for it to be signed by the end of the year, and that is not.
not very far
not
away,
very
but
far
I mean,
away, but
yeah.
still.
If they're good to get a letter, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Do you want us
Yeah.
to approve it?
yes,
I move that we approve the letter that drafted by Delia, okay, for letter to the governor in support of the Wetlands Protection Act updates.
Thank you very much. And the vote, Jim.
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good letter. Okay, now on to our last
Okay.
item of business, two administrative approvals.
Both for tree removal, 1401 Old Marlborough Road is for 5 hazard trees. We did get a certified arborist letter for those. Will has reviewed them. And, they are all in proximity to the house and have some structural damage. So he agreed with those removals. And then the next one, 938 Main Street, we did go out in the process of these trees being cut down. And I should say, sorry, with the 1401 Old Marlborough, that'll be done with a crane. And no snags and no replacement, but we're okay with that.
Okay.
All right.
And then we were alerted to the tree removal occurring on 938 Main Street. That's 3 pines that also are posing hazards to the house. And he was having those removed via a crane as well. He may come forward with a request for additional tree removals next year, and he's aware that there's a 5 limit.
Yeah.
Under an administrative approval, and that anything beyond that would require.
But he's already had 3.
He was in the process of removing 3, so that's 5 total, because Karen keeps a database.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not within a different, yeah, okay. I understand.
The 3 gave him 5 now, or?
No,
No.
he has 2 left.
Two left.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need to vote on that, do we?
No.
Okay, in that case, I adjourn the meeting at 8:32.